Nearly everyone alive today can trace their ancestry directly to a farmer. It's not surprising that so many of us have this in common. After all, farming is one of the oldest professions and its origins stretch back tens of thousands of years. But it's still shocking to realize just how many people can claim this connection. And all of us owe these people a debt we can never fully repay. For without them, there would be no towering cities, no great works of art, no glorious empires, and no high-tech civilizations like ours. It's easy to forget that the hook, the dramatic shift from a hunter-gatherer existence to a settled life of plowing fields and tending crops was on an accident. It was the result of brilliant, often anonymous innovations by countless individuals across the globe. Innovations that in many cases were made over thousands of years, not by a single inventor, but by people building on each other's ideas, until the knowledge was so widespread that it simply couldn't be stopped. In this series, we'll uncover the names and stories of some of those innovators and see how their genius laid the groundwork for modern society. Along the way, we'll debunk some persistent myths about the agricultural revolution, including the myth of the lone genius. The truth is, innovation spread through communities of farmers who shared knowledge and improved techniques with each other. Sometimes these improvements were small. It's like experimenting with slightly different tools for digging, cutting, or grinding. Other times they were earth-shattering, like figuring out how to divert water from a nearby stream to water crops during dry months. And some were so fundamental that we don't even know where or how they were invented. Take the simple digging stick, for instance. Archaeologists have found evidence of early digging sticks across the world, from what's now China to Peru to North America. In fact, researchers recently discovered what may be the world's oldest known digging stick in a cave in Slovenia, dating back at least 15,000 years. Yet despite its importance, we don't know for sure who invented it or when. What we do know is that early humans likely didn't invent the wheel or the plow or any other iconic symbols of civilization in a vacuum. Instead, these innovations came out of people working together to solve practical problems. And as we'll see in later episodes, these early farmers weren't just cultivating new plants and domesticating animals. They were also keeping track of the stars, burying their dead with ceremony, and building the very first permanent dwellings, houses, and villages. Each of these developments represented a huge leap away from the nomadic life of foraging and hunting. And each was the result of people asking what if, and then working together to make the answer a reality. But perhaps most important was the way they managed to take something wild, untamed and unpredictable, like a patchy field of grain, and turn it into something useful and reliable enough to sustain a way of life. This was no easy task, and it required an understanding of biology and ecology that would rival some modern scientific disciplines. For example, early farmers had to figure out how to plant and harvest different crops at the right times, and how to breed plants with desirable traits like larger fruit or more abundant yields. They also had to learn how to care for domesticated animals, raising them for food, labor, or even companionship. This wasn't done by chance, but through selective breeding. Choosing which animals or plants with certain traits were allowed to reproduce and pass those traits on to future generations. While scientists today might debate exactly how and why this process happened, what's clear is that our earliest ancestors didn't just stumble into agriculture. They made it happen, experimented, they observed, and they innovated. And in doing so, they created the conditions that eventually gave rise to sprawling cities, grand monuments, and yes, even to the modern age. So here's to the unsung innovators of the distant past, the ones who dared to dream of a different way of life and then made it a reality. Their legacy lives on in every bite of food we eat, every breath of fresh air we take, and every moment of wonder we experience in the natural world around us. Now, before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought. Just as the innovators of the past shaped the course of history, there are people today who are making innovations that will change the world for generations to come. These innovations may not be as visible or as dramatic as those of the distant past, but they're no less important. They're happening right now all around us, and they're laying the foundation for a better, brighter future. The question is, what are they and what will you do to help ensure they remembered and celebrated for generations to come? Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this episode, Please share it with others and leave a comment below with your thoughts and feedback. Your support helps us continue exploring the fascinating world around us and sharing it with curious minds everywhere.